Guys, you know what this is. We're here for the 0.3 live reveal. I'm actually here on time. For once. Go to sleep, it's too late. I already did. I already got an almost full night of sleep, actually. So you guys know the drill. You know what this is. We're going to see what GGG has in store for us. We're going to see if they solved all of our problems in-game and in real life. If they solved world hunger. And if they fixed, most importantly, if they fixed Path of Exile 2. Because obviously it's a little problematic right now. And we'll see what the people have to say after the live reveal and the patch notes. Which we'll go over, of course.
Hear my voice, ancestors! Show us your strength!
Opening
Show
cinematic.
us the true way!
That was a spear. Did you see that? That was a spear. So far. Oh, here it is. Here it is. We got Abyss. Yep. Rumor had it. Rumor had it.
We'll start by going over
Where's
Act
my
4,
druid,
the next
Jonathan?
chapter in the Path of Exile 2 storyline. But that's not all. There's also 3 new Interlude Acts to get you to endgame, which means we're removing Cruel Difficulty 2. That's going to be a big one. We'll then go over our new supporter packs. And
Buy
finish up
items
with
when
a
sellers
live
are
Q&A
offline.
session
They're
where ZD will
doing
ask
that?
Path of Exile 2's game directors,
Oh, that's to
myself
make a
and
lot of
Mark
people
your
happy.
questions from Twitch chat.
I'm
And
skeptical,
after that,
but
at 4 p.m. Pacific, patch notes.
go to sleep,
The free
wake up
weekend will
rich.
end on September the 1st, so you'll have plenty of time to give the game a try. Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you can visit
March,
the islands in any
dude.
order you choose. Will you visit the pristine beaches of Whakapanu Island?
If it's a real
The
act, I
Karui
guess.
whisper of a curse that afflicts all who travel there.
I'm
Perhaps
so
it's
sick
related
of
to the
King's
weapon
Mark.
you seek.
I don't want to even see it anymore.
Challenger! Come!
The Monkey King?
Your soul!
You got the Monkey King in this game.
There are 8
This guy's good. He got rage support
and new
plugged in.
bosses.
Good player. Good build.
You'll need to find your way through the darkness. The second interlude will have you return to the Vasteri Desert, where Asala has been given a sacred duty.
Ah,
When the
okay.
skies align, the
this
gifting
is a
of
good
water
idea.
requires a
Save a lot of
chosen Sekima
resources.
to meet with the Selkari,
Make it
guardians of the
genuinely
sacred
new.
water, but they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
The journey up the
7
mountain
act
will be
campaign,
dangerous.
guys.
New foes stand in your way.
What if it
And the
is?
further up the mountain you venture, the colder it will become.
What if it really is like 7 full acts?
In 030, when you hold down the dodge roll button, your character will go into a sprint after they finish the roll. This is available on all character classes, and there's no limitation on how long you can sprint for. The primary
What?
purpose of this feature is to make navigating areas faster when out of combat. Because of that, if you do take a hit while sprinting, you'll fall to the ground.
Evasion,
The best idea is to use a
best
skill when you
defensive
see
layer now,
monsters.
guys.
That'll break you out
Evasion
of the
is
sprint
the
so you can
best
engage with no
defensive
danger.
layer.
If you do need to run away from monsters,
ES,
just hold
okay.
spacebar.
ES
You won't
is
be vulnerable
out.
during the
EV
roll,
is
and you're
in.
faster while sprinting than. And we want to encourage you to combo your abilities. Something needed to change.
They're really
So with
showcasing
that in
lightning
mind,
arrow.
we've removed the
or
restriction
lightning
of having
spear, I
one
mean.
of each support gem per character. You can now use as many copies as you like. There are a lot of potential builds that suffered from the
On the
previous
surface,
restriction.
it increases
For
build
example,
diversity,
a
but
poison
it
build
also
previously
means
couldn't
they
add
have
poison
to
to more than one skill.
make every
They couldn't
gem
use
less
stacking poison on
exciting
more than one skill
because
either.
they do that.
This severely limited your ability
Less
to combo with
powerful,
anything
less
outside of the
exciting.
specifically
Every
designed
support
poison
gem.
archetype.
You
But
can't
now
have
you
like
can.
these huge standouts.
Many utility
anymore.
skills previously couldn't scale to
That's what
endgame
I don't like about
because
it.
the supports that would make them scale, the first couple of levels gives 15, then 20% increased cast speed. But then at tier 3, it changes to a new approach. For each different spell you cast in the last 8 seconds,
That's a good
you get
design.
10% increased cast speed.
See, that's
which
the
could
kind
be
of
a pretty
design I
big
want to
bonus
see.
if you use a lot of different spells. So that's pretty
good.
good for upgrades through the campaign.
I want to see more
We
of
wanted
that.
to add a little more, but to take further advantage of the ice fragments, Freezing Salvo has been upgraded to shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a nuke-like ability.
Freezing Salvo is a huge synergy with the Amazon Ascendancy, by the way.
We've also modified
secret a lot of
Snipe to
people don't
consume
know.
frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage. And we've
Bro,
also
we just
added a
got
new poison
Caustic
skill while we
Arrow
were at it,
in
called Toxic
PoE2.
Domain. It creates a small area around you that makes
This-
all your attacks
wow.
create toxic growth pustules.
Who wants to play
that attach to
Caustic
monsters.
Arrow today? Oh,
We're adding a new mechanic called Deflect.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Unlike Evasion, Deflect works on everything. And if you successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage.
Oh, bro,
Items
Mirage
can now give
Archer
you a
for
mod that gives
Spear.
you some amount
What?
of deflection based on your
Alright.
evasion.
All right, I'm intrigued. I am.
And there's a
intrigued.
bunch of it available on the past. Of course, this is a buff that helps all Dex characters, so the Mercenary and the Monk,
So now
but especially the Hunters,
life-based
are seeing big defense boosts from this as well.
agility classes just got a lot better.
Speaking of defensive mechanics, this makes parry much more reliable. And
Twister!
not only that, but to make block and parry nicer to use, you now also move faster than before.
Oh
while
my
using
god,
these
he's so bad.
abilities.
He hard-casted
This is a
Twister
massive
without the
buff
whirling
for
slash.
passive block as well. So to counter that, we did have to lower the max passive block a bit. Accuracy was always intended to be something that warriors
Oh,
didn't need
shit.
to care about very much, so long as they're in close combat.
They're
But
going to nerf
unfortunately,
accuracy
that's not currently
stacking.
the case.
They're going to nerf it.
This was
aren't they?
particularly annoying
They're
with
gonna
skills
nerf
like Bone Shatter, which you certainly don't want to mess with. So we significantly buffed your
I don't
chance
want
hit
to
close
talk about
ranges when you
accuracy.
don't have much accuracy.
Don't talk
Warriors
about
shouldn't
it.
require any accuracy investment in order to hit with close range attacks now.
He's talking about something different, though.
One of the most important improvements we've made in 030 is to declunk the action and flow of shooting crossbows.
Oh, I thought he was
You
going
can
to say
now
weapon
reload
swap.
crossbows without any movement penalty.
Dude, if they remove the
But not
penalty
only
of
that,
weapon
all
swap,
skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time.
I will
This
be
change benefits everyone,
over
not just
the
crossbow
moon.
skills. With both of these changes put together, Chill now lasts 8 seconds, giving you more of a reason to weave in cold damage. Freezing skills
Wow.
are better at freezing. Burning skills need to cause burns that last longer. But making skills like Permafrost Bolts and Incendiary Shot double down
Wait, is
on how
that
they're supposed to
global or
be used,
just specific to
and makes
crossbows?
using them in your build alongside other skills much more likely. It gives you a new ability called Reap. When an enemy is low in life,
Oh, it's
you can dash forward and
specific
rake enemies
to
with the
the
scythe to
weapon.
kill them instantly. healing them.
Ouch.
It can also inflict critical
Ouch.
weakness on enemies too. Wind Blast had the purpose of building up to dazing an enemy, but
I'd
dazing just
love to
wasn't
play
with
a
all that
wind
effort.
monk,
Now it just
man.
dazes on hit, meaning a
would
single Wind
love
Blast
this.
will make all your skills stun enemies more easily. Well, that changes now.
Oh, shit.
The monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the Hollow Palm technique, a keystone that lets you use all
As
quarterstaff
though
skills
using a
while unarmed.
quarterstaff?
All quarterstaff
What?
attacks
You can
now have a
flicker
special
strike,
unarmed version,
bare-handed
and
flicker
you get further
strikes?
bonuses to all your
Bruh.
attacks from stacking Energy Shield and Evasion on your character.
Barehanded flicker strikes, let's go.
A new keystone we also added to the monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wild. Now, one of the least used ascendancy classes in the game is the Acolyte of Chayula, so we knew we needed to make some changes here.
Yes.
One of the key things we had to do was make the chaos damage that the Acolyte can do much more useful.
Yes.
So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing
Nice,
the
I
elemental
love
powers of the
ailment.
monk
I
in
love
a
it.
truly chaotic fashion.
Love it.
In addition,
That's
he can make
so
all of
good.
his chaos damage leech.
In this game, that's really
And we've
good.
buffed into the breach, and there's no longer 3 curses for fire, ice, and lightning. Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3 at the same time.
Really?
And things like Frostbomb, which give you cold
Really?
exposure, now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills.
All of the exposures and curses. Oh, dude.
We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively. To do that, we've removed the weapon switch time, and now happens instantly. This applies game-wide too.
Oh my god!
And we didn't just want to stop
They did
there.
that!
We wanted
Oh,
to
we're
add some
so
specific
back
mechanics
now.
that work between different elements.
Oh,
and that's
they
where
just
elemental
opened the
infusions come in.
entire world. Okay.
Certain skills can now
Okay.
drop elemental infusions. For example,
Okay.
when a frostbomb
Weapon
explodes, it leaves
swap
behind a cold
instant
infusion on the
now.
ground.
They needed this
After
so
picking it
bad.
up, you can spend it on one of any number of different skills
That
to
is the
transform how they
biggest
work.
thing I've heard so far in this entire reveal.
Orb of Storms now generates lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it.
Got the sprint, the instant
And that's
weapon
all spells, by
swap,
the way, not just lightning. Once
whole
you have
bunch of
one, you
reworks,
could cast a
more
lightning flame
skills.
wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles that pass through it.
Wind
Or power
monk
up
might
Ember
be
Fusillade
here
with
now.
lightning, which will
Chayula
generate
monk
arcs
is
to nearby
good.
enemies as each fireball hits.
Maybe. It's gonna be
Or
hard
use
to
a
not
level
play
3 to
monk.
generate
I
a storm
know,
that is
dude.
truly apocalyptic.
I can't wait to
Cold
see the
Snap has been
action of
simply
the
turned
monk.
into Snap. And here's the new version.
Oh, Jesus
it's a lot more
Christ.
dense, and there's more interesting nodes than before. Now, we probably can't go through too many of these in the live stream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all
Diablo
your skills will
3.
be converted to lightning, and you will do extra lightning damage as well.
Hey, that's cool.
We have ones
though.
for cold and fire
People
too, with
love
different triggers.
Archon.
Here's another cool one. Elemental Practitioner gives
Oh.
crit bonuses if you've triggered a skill recently, while also making crits generate more energy for triggers.
That's easy to
Or
get.
maybe you'd like the Great Boar. It gives you a reason to stack dexterity to make you
I'm thinking
tougher,
about a cast
giving
on crit
bonus to
build with a
life
monk
and
too. I
stun
mean, that's right
threshold.
there. That's right there.
all your gems.
Cast on crit, hollow, palm,
Now,
flicker,
another major
strike.
change is attribute requirements. We felt like players
my
probably
God.
had a few too many nodes and attributes, and not enough in interesting passives.
I can't believe they gave
were
weapon
thought to be
swap
extinct,
instant
but have merely been
time. I'm
biding their
so
time
hyped
underground.
for that, dude.
You first encounter signs of the
Oh
Abyssal
my
in
God.
Clearfell,
You guys
where
don't
you discover
understand how
that
hype I
during
am
the
for that.
night, weaker members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. A giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling beneath you.
Like straight out of Hercules Hades.
So how do you reveal the mods on your Abyssal-infused items?
Oh my God.
Obviously, just throw them in, right? Yes, that's exactly what you do. Or
You know, I
one
just
that
realized-
emerges out. There are dozens of
I
these
can level
waystone
as
modifiers in
Twister.
total you can get from this crafting.
But also anything else because
That
we have
covers the
instant
new
weapon
crafting
swap.
mechanic.
What?
So what's left? Well, we talked about how when
I just
closing
level as
pits,
Twister
you
on the
can get
back end
Abyssal
of whatever I'm
troves.
doing. Guys, I'm
Darkness
almost certain
enthroned.
I'm gonna do Twister Flicker
It has
Strike.
2 sockets. But hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has
I'm
a special
almost certain
mod
it's gonna
that
be
allows
Twister
it to
Flicker
count as a
Strike.
different slot for the purpose of socketables.
My map
For
rolling
example,
videos are all out of
The
date now.
Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage. We will, of course, be
Well,
reducing
guys,
the difficulty
we
per
gotta go
modifier
back to
to
school.
account for this.
See which mods are the best for
So,
quant rarity and
that's your
pack
atlas,
size.
maps, and waystones, allowing you to pick your difficulty, and you'll notice each
Oh,
difficulty has
wow,
a different
very
entry
good
cost.
change.
This means if you want to run easier difficulties, it costs less.
I mean, it probably
which
doesn't
also
fix
allows
it
you to
at
run
its
this
core, but a
content
nice
much
band-aid
sooner
at
into
least.
the in-game.
It's at least
Because
a good
these
band-aid
encounters
fix.
now just require splinters, their corresponding atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them.
People can
and
be
has
like
been
min-maxing
changed
the
to purely
crap out of
affect the
that.
content and maps on the atlas.
Trying to figure out the drop rates on
The
each
Arbiter
difficulty.
of Ash
like, which
works a
one's
bit
that?
differently. These come from Citadel bosses also, but only once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss atlas tree, ensuring those citadels are at their
Citadel
highest
farming,
difficulty
baby.
level.
It's gonna be
Since
better than
we're
ever.
talking about pinnacle content,
Nice.
we also felt that the leveling curve
Oh,
in the late
dude,
game
I'm
was
looking
a
forward to
bit
the
too
in-game now.
steep. Thunderfist is a pair of gloves that grants crackling palm, a
know
skill
about
which
these.
empowers your unarmed attacks, granting the ability to call down the storms themselves on enemies you hit.
So,
Put
Hallow Palm
simply,
Monk.
literally every monster you hit with your
Dude,
unarmed
he's
skills will be struck by powerful lightning. Pair
thought that
this
was
with the
Flicker Strike
aforementioned
he was
hollow
using.
palm technique to embrace your true unarmed prowess in combat.
Right. Okay, he's using the ice. the
Another
ice
unique
skill.
we're adding is
That's gonna be a
Hennicora's
good one,
sight.
way to level right there.
Equip.
Uh-oh.
We've taken
Uh-oh.
a step back and looked at some of our crafting systems to make some
Uh-oh.
notable improvements.
Oh, really?
Let's start with essences. These higher tiers will also exist for Orb of Augmentation,
Wow, dude.
Regal Orb,
Chaos
Exalted
Orbs?
Orb, and
Chaos?
Chaos Orb.
Wow.
Meaning you can get all of the orbs required to take your item from normal rarity to a fully completed rare with guaranteed high
Hey,
tier
that
mods.
is an interesting concept. Okay.
On top of these new
Some people
core
still gonna
crafting
hate it
currencies, we
at
wanted
its
to make
core,
sure there are
but
powerful
that's-
crafting bases to use them on.
I think
Now
that's
in
pretty big.
in-game, you can start to find exceptional
I like
items.
it. I like that.
An additional socket to use your crafting socketables in.
Wow.
And yes, they can be corrupted for yet another socket.
What?
You can also
Hello.
get exceptional unique items.
Oh, we don't have exceptional Valorb? Perfect
add
Valorb?
even further to your
Damn.
crafting
Imagine Perfect
arsenal,
Valorb never
We've
fails.
added a whole suite of new omens to ritual content. Capelago.
Oh,
You'll be able to now find a
shit.
new currency item. Henikora's Lock.
Uh,
Henikora, the Kartori goddess of death,
Oh,
has
yeah.
the power of foresight.
Here we go.
And is able to see many futures, including the outcome
farming
of your next
locks and
craft.
mirrors again, boys.
So, as you will
How
know
rare is this gonna
exactly
be?
what the outcome
Really?
is.
Really
So,
rare.
with all these new crafting improvements, it's safe to say you're going to be making
Actually,
some
it might
epic
not be that
items.
rare.
And
It might not be.
necessarily just ones for yourself. So given that, it's time to talk
I bet
about
it's
a
more
massive
common in this game than it is in
Trade.
PoE 1.
It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Fully asynchronous trade.
Oh, shit.
Over the years, the way
There it
players
is.
trade with each other in Path of Exile 1 has morphed
Poor Chris
from using
Wilson
the forums
rolling in his
through to the
grave.
in-game chat. Or
I
never
love
getting
they put
responses
this
from
on the
people who are
screen.
either AFK
Offer
or
one
just can't
out.
be bothered.
Bruh.
In order to finally solve
Cabbage
this,
emoji.
and this has been a long time coming, and can even be offline. With the introduction
Every
of
morning's
King's March in
Christmas
Act
morning,
4,
folks.
you will encounter Ange, assistant to Rog in the Meridian Free Traders Company. Faustus has handed down his knowledge
Low-key,
and
this
expertise
change
to
is gonna
Ange,
make PoE2
and she
more
is
popular
now
than
ready
PoE
to
1.
take over his business. If you
If
have
they
a
don't
hideout
implement it in
unlocked already,
PoE1 too. I
you
assume
can
they're going to.
immediately
but-
invite her there. Allowing
I mean,
you
do
then
you
to
want to
take
play a
slice
game
of
where
it
every
for
morning's
yourself,
Christmas morning,
making
or
it your new home
not?
and base of
I
operations,
don't know. I don't know.
but also serve as the
Oh, they need to
figurehead
put
in
that
your
in the
new
good
trading
PoE.
empire. So, the prices are set using in-game currency items, such as
What if you
Exalted Orbs
mislist it?
or Chaos Orbs.
Yoink.
Once a
Yoink.
price is set, other players will be able to find the item by searching for it on the
Secure
trade
item.
website. Based on how the system goes,
Yeah, it's all
we'll be
upside,
adding
okay.
it to Path of Exile 1 when ready, so any of the tabs you purchase
Oh.
will also be usable there later.
Who's hype now?
Next up, we're going to be
Who's
talking about
hype
our
now?
new supporter packs.
We got any PoE2
Today,
haters in the
we're
chat
launching
who are excited
two new
now?
series of supporter packs. The Justice and Trathan Executioner packs. Each
I know
tier
you guys are
contains the
happy,
pack's
don't hide
full
it.
face value in points. The Justice series of supporter packs.
They're about to
contains
sell a
6
lot of
exclusive
supporter packs right now,
microtransactions.
guys. Just
Claim
like
glory after defeating
clockwork.
enemies, or inspire your allies by calling down the Banner of Justice portal.
who's gonna buy a
The
supporter
Sphinx
pack right
Mystic
now?
hideout
Who's getting
decoration
your
will
wallet out?
identify items for you, displaying them as it does so. This ancient
Take
creature
my
has
money.
been presented with many items over the eons.
Instant
Become
weapon
a true
swap?
warrior,
Take my
worthy
money.
of delivering the justice of the eternal gods with the Apostle
That's
of
all I
Justice
needed.
armor set.
I'm convinced.
This armor set also
Good
comes
game,
with a
good.
matching back attachment.
Wow, guys, that was impressive. We got a lot of really good stuff there. Massive. Okay, so that'll conclude all the patch notes. I have actually written a few things down. Anything that pertains to content that I'm familiar with, builds, especially build-related stuff, items, gems, things like that, really meaningful changes, I wrote down here. Let's start with the buffs. We got weapon swap, all right. I mean, somebody mentioned this a couple times. Weapon swap instant. I'm super stoked about this. Easily the number one thing on the list that I'm happy for. I know for a lot of people, it's going to be trade. For some people, it might be, hey, a new act. I don't know. For me, weapon swap instant opens a whole new world of possibilities for the game. I'm thinking things like tornado shot plus whirling slash into twister. I'm thinking, flicker strike with hollow palm plus maybe twister. I don't know. I mean, twister, obviously like it a lot. Maybe I will, maybe I won't with that. But yeah, those are just a few things off the top of my head. So instant weapon swap is going to be great. Remember, keystones don't work for weapon swap points. It's a little unfortunate, as we did see a trend into more powerful keystones in the game. Walker of the Wilds is an elemental leech keystone now. It's going to be somewhere in the monk tree. And so that's looking pretty nice. It was a bit of an issue, especially in 0.1, where leech was kind of bad. And it was mainly because it was doing too much elemental damage, not enough physical damage. Didn't get much value out of the leech. You guys, some of you might remember, leech was pretty rough. Mana and life sustain was pretty rough in 0.1. Hollow Palm is going to be the new thing. This is going to be the big player for leveling now, I think. Just looking at it on its face, it grants a bunch of extra damage and, crit, attack speed, all the good stuff based on your stats, defensive stats, evasion and energy shield, skill gem level. And so that stuff's just going to scale naturally. So instead of like trying to upgrade your weapon constantly through the campaign, you're going to just try to upgrade your armor, body armor, to have a high max evasion roll, which is, I guess a little easier going than trying to keep the weapon updated. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll be tough though, because you'll be messing with like your helmet and gloves and all that stuff, but you'll also have to prioritize resist and things still. So I don't know, it might be a little awkward, but definitely going to create a fun, unique, and very cool animations for leveling. I figure Ice Strike Monk leveling Invoker is going to be a huge play at League start. May very well be how I start the campaign. Resolute Techniques, another keystone, kind of an honorable mention. Still reduces all your crit chance. Totally on the wrong side of the tree for anything I want to do, but at least in terms of hypotheticals, we already have a shield that doubles accuracy, and now this keystone doubles your accuracy again. I would have like over 12 or 120,000 accuracy. Probably get something like 150% or 150,000 accuracy maybe. on a build. That's like over 500% increase attack speed from that Keystone. Again, Keystone's in the wrong place. Also removes your crit. But anyway, just trying to conceptualize that in terms of maximum movement speed with Whirling Slash. Okay. Speaking of movement speed, we have Sprint mechanic. Brand new mechanic. You guys saw it in the reveal. I'm sure most of you already know a little bit about it. It looks like it's really punishing if you get hit by it. We're already thinking high evasion build based on Monk with the Invoker, with this Ascendancy. It's starting to look really good with things like that. With Sprint, I mean, you still have Whirling Slash, could be fast, but especially early on, Sprint could be really good. You can cancel out of it with a second dodge roll, I assume, or using a skill. So a higher skill cap of gameplay, I guess. There, higher reward, higher risk for using that. All you gotta do is dodge roll and hold the button, apparently. Temporal Chains was buffed, increased effectiveness. Actually, most curses were increased in effectiveness now. They were also kind of, they were changed in a way where overall they're an increased effectiveness. They still have reduced effectiveness on unique enemies and whatnot. Elemental Weakness also consolidated Cold, Fire, and Lightning. We see a general theme here that is moving in favor of, well, Elemental Trinity type gameplays. The Trinity is on this list as well, which is cool. Elemental Exposure also following that same theme. And Frostbomb got some crazy buff with up to like 50 or 60% exposure on there. What in the world? Also, as an honorable mention here, we have the support gem for the reverse elemental resistance threshold. So that'll be a very popular one, but this is a different way to reduce enemies' elemental resist. So yeah, elemental weakness and elemental exposure, making it easier, streamlining, lowering enemy resistances without having to pick a specific archetype, being able to do anything. Cold and lightning, for example. Tempest Bell got changed a little bit, probably went under the radar. 3% more damage per time the bell gets hit, but you lose your +2 max times you can hit it. Tempest Bell has been nerfed quite a bit, but it's still a nice way to squeeze something into a build. Hollow Palm build even. I'm sure I would be using Tempest Bell somehow. And, I mean, it can still add quite a bit. So it does more damage now. More damage per hit. 3% more damage per time it's hit until it expires. But it'll expire even a little bit faster. That was a quality bonus. Trinity now counts for spells. This is actually huge and something that I looked up a few days ago because I wasn't sure, and I was thinking in the back of my head, just giving you guys a little bit of idea about where I'm at on a potential super endgame build. I am contemplating a real cast on crit spell damage build, which I probably would have leaned Invoker Monk anyway, due to Elemental Expression, which was also buffed, by the way. Although I think it's still technically not very good because of the cooldown on it. But that's pretty huge. So I'm now sitting here looking at an insanely high spirit requirement build with Trinity in there, but possible here with Trinities for spells. It's got to make anybody who wants to spell-based build happy. You won't see me hard casting spells, but possibly cast on crit spells could do. Whirling Slash, less stuck. I couldn't believe this when I read this. I was like, biting my nails about any sort of adjustments to Whirling Slash. I figured it would get nerfed. I figured accuracy stacking might get nerfed. No. Accuracy stacking didn't get nerfed. Whirling Slash mobility didn't get nerfed unless it was hidden outside the patch notes. It could be a situation where they lower the lateral movement of it without telling us. So maybe I should move that into the needs testing section. But anyway, improved pathing on Whirling Slash. I don't know how much, but that's one of the big things. It didn't bother me too much because I learned to deal with it. But this could be something that brings a lot of people into the fold of using Whirling Slash as a movement, as opposed to the sprint mechanic. So Whirling Slash indirectly was not nerfed, but indirectly was, I think of it as nerfed slightly because the sprint mechanic was introduced. However, at the super high end, get enough attack speed, maybe it's faster than as fast as sprint anyway, with the high movement speed, maybe, I don't know. Soul cores across the board got buffed. I didn't see anything too insane there, except like 3% max life on body armor instead of 2. Could be good for a life-based build. Deflection is a new suppression mechanic for agility users. So once again, of course, we're going to want to, use some sort of agility right side of the tree. The whole right side of the tree got buffed, basically. I mean, buffs were around everyone. I'm only writing down the things that really apply to anything. I would play right side, bottom right side of the tree. But yeah, I don't know how easy it'll be to get this. But I did see there's a new body armor roll, suffix roll, that gives you deflection rating based on the amount of evasion that you have. You're already evasion stacking. It could be pretty crazy. Hollow palm or not. But anyway, that's it for the buffs. I'm probably forgetting some things. We got nerfs. Eternal Youth. No energy shield. So Mark said in the Ziggy D interview that they're conceptually they are making a shift away from ES, the power of energy shield, not by nerfing energy shield directly, but by removing the ease of recovery to make energy shield recovery harder and or require higher investment, relying more on recharge rate and all that. By the way, I didn't write this down, but Invoker got another buff, and that was to Meditate, which could potentially make up for some of the issues with Energy Shield. Meditate looking very, very strong right now. It got buffed in multiple ways, so you can look into that if you want. Back to nerfs. Eternal Youth no longer... It doesn't even say what it does. I think the patch note is missing. It basically just gave it all downside. It removed the upside, which is... your life flask gives you energy shield. Now it doesn't, but it didn't say anything else. I don't know what it does. Grim Feast is now back in the game, but only works for minions in some way. It doesn't have anything to do with energy shield, so it's basically gone. Culture of Crimson was the new body armor I was excited about in 0.2 that gave you Overleach. But Overleach itself was nerfed, unfortunately, from 2x to 1.5. This is a massive nerf to this body armor. That gave, I had like a 2400 life build. It was effectively 4800 life. Well, now that would be 3600 life instead of 4800, which is a monstrous nerf. And now I'm going to think twice about, whether I do a life build or maybe I do Chaos Inoculation build again. If I'm playing Invoker Monk, more likely to go ES anyway. Maybe I run Meditate. I don't know, but this definitely hurt a lot. I like this body armor. Hey, Lightning Spear was nerfed. Bet you didn't know that. Basically nerfed, especially its Frenzy Charge use there. Tangle Tongue nerfed massively. It got its crit cut in half, more than half, only up to 8% here, so it's basically a pretty garbage item now. Slightly higher than normal max crit chance roll. Spear Field was nerfed. Apparently there was a bug. It had like a hidden % damage multiplier that was nerfed. Kind of like in the same vein as, I guess, Elemental Twister was nerfed, a hidden damage multi. But it wasn't so severe that they had to nerf it mid-league. But, yeah. Rake was apparently also bugged, or they forgot about the tag, a travel skill tag. So the Stomping Ground support only works with travel tags. So it's uniquely good with Rake because Rake was such a solid, no questions asked, just use it right where you stand, or, teleport to it like Ice Strike for the Monk, and then you also got Stomping Ground and all the benefits of that. That is now gone, so the Rake Stomping Ground meta is dead. Next is Frostbolt, actually big nerf to early game, especially early game Twister, and or super late game with Cast on Crit Frostbolt that I was using. So the earliest part and the latest parts of the game nerfed to my previous build. No Chilled Ground from Frostbolt anymore. Which, yet again, makes me think of going Invoker even more, because Invoker is one of the classes that can uniquely get chilled and or shocked ground pretty easily. So, all roads seem to lead to Invoker here as I continue looking at this. We still have Wake of Destruction, though. Wake of Destruction in the early to mid to late game will still be very strong, and honestly, Wake of Destruction was still something that I used for a very long time. I could use it for the entire duration of the game. It wouldn't be that bad, honestly. Except for the fact that it doesn't have evasion on it. That could be a problem. All right, we got Roa. The Roa was changed, kind of a buff nerf. It's now default faster movement speed, but does have some penalty for using skills on the go. Seems like kind of a net neutral. However, I put it on the nerf category because sprint now exists. So you can't sprint with a Roa because you can't roll with a Roa. So yeah. Incidentally, the whole sprint thing, Mark was talking about using blink with it, but it said in here in a line that blink no longer counts as a roll, dodge roll, so I don't know how that squares. Not really sure about that, but that's a bit of a side point. Yeah, row is still fine. Some people are going to like it. A lot of people are going to like it still, but again, sprint, I think row will be the lower skill cap play, and sprint gameplay will be the higher skill cap play. You just have to be more careful and or, you know, focus on evasion-based builds. Sprint will be better, probably. We got to play with it yet. I don't know. But whatever allows you to move the fastest overall, it's going to be preferable if you're, you know, into that sort of thing. Which I definitely am. All right, Critical Strike, Ascendancy, Amazon Ascendancy got nerfed. By roughly, what was it, like 50%? Something like that? Or no, maybe 30%? 40%? So the I don't know, the way the numbers shake up, it was giving, yeah, well, it was giving like 15% crit, and now it'll give like half of that, or maybe 10, depending on how high your accuracy goes. I felt like it was a little bit overpowered, so I mean that seems fair. Except some other ascendancy points in the Amazon seem pretty bad, so I wish the Amazon didn't have such bad ascendancy points outside of the couple of really good ones. It makes it, it's like so nice, but it's just kind of weak otherwise. Speaking of another ascendancy nerf, Avidity, which was the Deadeye ascendancy, one of the more important ascendancies with frenzy charges. I was leaning toward Deadeye. I was actually League Start practicing with Deadeye, partially on account of this ascendancy point. 30% chance when you gain a frenzy charge to gain max frenzy charges now is just staggeringly weak. 50%, I mean, it's a profusion support global. 50% chance to gain an additional frenzy charge when you would have gained one. Which will still be decent in the very beginning, but as you get higher max frenzy charges, it's just going to be sucky. Now, the most important powerful ascendancy point in the Deadeye still exists. Effects from frenzy charges are doubled. That still exists. So that's still insane, and that's way more important than Avidity. But this was the catalyst to making that as powerful as it was. So yeah, I was kind of looking forward to doing Deadeye Twister stuff, see how many Twisters I could get, but we'll see. Cast on Ailment. Most people would think this is a buff, so this is another change like Elemental Weakness and Exposures where it was all consolidated into one, except they made the spirit cost from 60 to 100, and it's going to have higher attribute requirement. It's going to be harder to hit, especially early on, whereas that gem used to be level 8 requirement, is now level 14. They are reducing the attribute requirement of all skill gems by, they said, roughly like 15%, especially at the high end. But this is still going to feel pretty bad, I think. Except if you're really playing like if you're focused deeply on like a hybridized build, which, I mean, maybe I am. I like cold and ice, especially if I'm playing Invoker, so... Or cold night, not cold night. I mean cold and lightning. Shock and freeze. But I don't know, we'll see. 100 spirit is a high price, though, especially early on in the campaign, so... Huge nerf here. This is probably the single biggest nerf that I'm facing here across any and all builds that I would normally play. I would always have a cast on crit or cast on ailment build with marks. I even made a video on how you can get effectively 2 marks instead of 1 because those marks go off so fast and the way that they kind of override each other, you could effectively get almost full value of both. Well, now you get nothing. Okay, so marks are no longer considered spells, so presumably they will no longer fit in cast on meta gems, so this might have gone under the radar for some people. Huge nerf there. I'm sad to see this. This is, to me, is the most unfortunate nerf of all of them that I'm looking at. Herald of okay, so no more Voltaic Mark, no more Sniper's Mark. You're going to hard cast it. Indirectly, this now makes Hand of Chayula, which should be really good with Hollow Palm. Hand of Chayula is looking a little stronger now because that could be a way to actually get marks on there without hard casting. So, yet even more moving in the direction of playing Monk here. Herald of Thunder, Radius nerf from 1.4 to 1. I don't know why they're gutting it. I mean, it's already hard enough to scale the AoE. Is it really that big of a deal? They're making Herald of Thunder a single target ability, I guess, instead of AoE, but whatever. Needs testing. Elemental Sundering was changed a little bit. This skill was already kind of in forever in this needs testing phase. I did test it a little bit. The one where you plant your spear in the ground, it pulsates and removes chill, shock, freeze, or ignite and all that, and then it does some extra damage. I can't remember even off the top of my head what changes were done to it, but something was done to it needs looking at. And then they're introducing a new mechanic called Elemental Infusion, which is, this is gonna, like, I think this is something where they're just gonna build into it. We're probably gonna see some updated patch notes, because it seems a bit vanilla right now. What they're doing, a few select spells can be further enhanced with infusion, but I am kind of excited to look into this because this has good ramifications for a cast on crit spell damage based build. If they're gonna improve, it looks like they're trying to improve, cross elemental hybridized builds as well as improve spell damage builds. This is leaning me in the direction of thinking, long term, okay, we might be focusing on spell damage. Could be really good. So that concludes what I have for the patch notes, and we'll just keep refreshing this to see updated patch notes, and we'll start taking a look at videos. I'll start coming out with more videos. I think my next video will probably be the glorious announcement of weapon swap, and a couple of things that are on my mind there, and just reintroducing the idea of weapon swap into a build, and we'll probably take a look at Hollow Palm as well. Those are some of the big things that are immediately on the mind. I think a lot of people are going to be leveling Monk this time around. I'm thinking there's probably 80 to 90% chance I league start as Invoker. The Chayula Monk got changed a bit, but it doesn't look like it was made much better. I'm not really sure. But yeah, Monk is looking really strong right now. Really strong. Also, Hollow Palm is located, unfortunately, away from the Ranger tree and closer to the Witch tree, which makes it even harder to justify trying to go like Ranger and then get Hollow Palm real quick. So maybe the Witch will be doing Hollow Palm stuff. Yeah. Somebody in chat says going unarmed Invoker into caster build. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I kind of like the blueprint of unarmed Invoker into attack full blown. Maybe like 2 weapon types, spear, quarterstaff, or spear unarmed attack based Invoker into pure caster or cast on crit type build in the very end. That could be a nice blueprint to follow. That sounds fun. Hypothetically, to me, sounds fun. A nice way to progress. I tend to think of these in terms of long term, but I'm just conceptualizing something in the back of my head. It'll have to be tested. Probably could test a little bit of this. I do have a level 97 Invoker on 0.1, but I don't have really any currency to buy anything, and everything costs an arm and a leg there, so I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned.